Okay guys, here we go for one of my first, or my actual first, flight simulator video. I am going to do a few more of these because it's absolutely banging game this. What I am going to do on this video is the second leg of one of the bush trips. Now the bush trips are big epic kind of journeys, sightseeing journeys you can take throughout the game, broken up into loads of little legs. As you can see on the left here, let me put you into the other view. Bear with me a second. On the right there, you can see the legs, the different legs that we've got to do. Basically, there's lots left to do. Done the first one quite successfully, and the difference between these and just tutorial flights is you've got to put into practice all of your navigation skills. But basically, it's a little bit like a sat nav. You make sure the arrow's pointing up, you follow the arrow, you read the description of what it is you're intended to do, and then you move on to the next leg once your waypoint has been met and the arrow changes your heading. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the plane and we'll get our headings up, and then I'll explain a bit more at that point. So here we are in our plane. We'll put you onto the POV because I like this one. So we click ready to fly, which is on my extreme right over here. We now have a navlog here that I can drag around, and I'll put it on the big A pillar here normally, just because that's something I'm not really looking at too much. So there we go. We can roll our view back a little bit so we can see a bit more of the aircraft like this. So as you can read here, it says our first heading is 140 degrees, which on this little computer down here in the middle, you get rid of this up there in the middle there, it says 136 degrees. So our heading is already kind of the direction we're taking off in. So it says once in the air above Otakak, I guess that's a horrible way to pronounce it, but that's how it's written. Continue southeast along River State Road D50. You'll pass back over the Gaka River before reaching a fork in the road. Follow the southern branch as the road paths into the hills and past an expansive mining operation. We're basically going to take off. It's about 5.16 nautical miles, which takes about 2.5 minutes. We're going to head at 140. We're going to have our heading at 140 degrees in the plane, and we're going to look for a state road, a river, and a fork in the road. Basically, look for a big mining facility. That's our first sightseeing target, basically. Then the next one, you'll obviously at that point, once you reach there, automatically your heading will change. This little purple arrow in the compass there. Let me show you on this. The little purple arrow in the compass there will change, give you a new heading. You can quickly read the description if you leave it up over here on the next one that you've got to do, basically. But firstly, we'll take off in this little bitch and we'll crack on. Let me show you actually what I've got just here. Bear with me because I think the animation will go. The movements of the stick are just really jerky for me. So there you go. Right, let's click back into the sim. We'll throttle up, see if we can get this little bitch off the ground. I've also got a set of Huizenveld pedals. You can see in my view there on the left and right. If I come out of the aircraft, you can see that they control the rudder of the aircraft for me. So they help me crab the aircraft, basically. So let's do it. Let off the brake once we've got our girl going. We'll let off the brake a little bit. Now you rudder it a little bit to try and keep it straight on the runway. We'll head to 140 degrees. We'll just pull back a little bit on the stick. There we go, right in the air. Got a decent bit of wind. So we'll climb up to around about 2,000 feet. Leave the power when you're climbing, you need a load of grunt. So we're heading at 131 degrees at the moment, so you just need to pitch it right a little bit. Now we're heading at 140 degrees. You can press the little arrow there to get a little bit of a better view over the nose. Right, our altimeter says that that's about 2,000 feet, but I think that we're already quite high. We're on the ground above sea level, so completing a bush trip without using the get me back on track feature will award an achievement for that particular activity. So as we said, it's about 5 miles, which is about 2.5 minutes. We'll just back off the revs a little bit now that we've got it going. So we're looking for a state road D50. You'll pass back over the Gaka River before reaching a fork in the road. So we can back out. So there's the river below us now. We're a little bit off target. We'll just run it back in. We can move our stick around. The view what's around us. We'll pass back over the Gaka River before reaching a fork in the road, follow the southern branch. That looks like the mining facility up in front of us there. That big old splodge you can see. That looks a lot like the mining facility to me. Yeah, so there's the road below us. And that's a big old mining facility there. That looks like it to me. So now it's saying 157 degrees. You will soon cross paths with the A1 motorway again. Follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south near the village of Conchco Burdo. So we're nice and on track. We'll just get it round to 157 degrees is the one we're looking for. So that's 6.75 nautical miles from our last waypoint, about just over 3 minutes. So whilst the plane is cruising along nicely, I'll move this down just so that I can See what our next waypoint is going to look like. You'll soon cross paths with the A1 motorway again. So that's the A1 motorway, I guess. Over there. There it is down there on the right. Jump back in the aircraft, see how our little line is looking. So it's slightly off. It wants because the line is broken. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. The line is either straight, and in the middle of that compass there, it's broken, which tells you you're a little bit too far left. You understand what I'm saying? So it wants me to come right a little bit to straighten that line up. Like that. So that's nice and straight now. So, you cross past the Evemt again, follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south near the village of Konskobodo. So we're going to go, I'm assuming that there's going to be a village along this road at some point. Because I have it set in triples, all of my HUD elements when I come outside the aircraft are in the extreme right and left. I don't know if you can move that around. If anybody knows how to move that, that'd be awesome to drag it back to the centre of the screen here. So 121 degree turn. And then 8.4 nautical miles for our next to go and visit the Jadova River Bridge. Will be our next port of call after this one. Flying along with a little car there down below us on the wingtip. On a bank left a little bit, we're just running a tiny bit off, of course, from the arrow. Right, so there we go. That I'm assuming that then is our village down there. Some big set of buildings, nice junction, looks like a petrol station, stuff like that. Pretty cool. Details amazing. So now we're going to take our next bank at 121 degrees, so we want to go. Nope, sorry, 171 degrees. Now I'm flying off, I'm one ahead of myself. Amateur. So we're going to fly at the 170 degree mark. You can look around the cockpit like this, which I think is always pretty cool. If I was to move the throttle out and in, it would work on there. If I was to trim nose down, nose up, etc. All pretty cool. Gone a little bit off track, mucking about trying to entertain. So we're at 170 degrees, 171 degrees. As you follow the road south, it will begin to curve and bend towards the east. Let it take you past a forest to a bridge over the Jadova River. So I'm guessing we're going to be having a river appear at some point. Can't see a river anywhere in the distance, but slowly losing altitude ever so slightly. I know we're cruising along at a pretty decent altitude, to be fair. Engine's ticking along nicely. About to go over another little village. Let us know if you live there. Still on course beautifully. Altitude is nice and steady. So I can see the river winding round, sort of on the right hand side of the screen just now, so I'm guessing it did say 7.7 nautical miles. So about 3.5 minutes, roughly. Been way longer than that, I feel like. But I can see the river is going to kind of like come across the front of our aircraft shortly. Just get us back on course with that 170-degree mark. Yeah, you can see on the nav there, the river running just above the compass there. Alright, so if we get the curve, let it take you past a forest, which looks like a forest on our left, to a bridge over the Jadova River, then farther southeast. So we are heading southeast. We're at 168 degrees now, not quite the 170 we're after. So there's the river. There's a bridge down there and all. We'll try and get down there and have a look. Yeah, you can see the bridge just there. With the little cars going all the way over it. Get our nose down a little bit. Got a bit of a climb going on there from the old... We just did a bit of a dive to see the... Right, now we've got a hard left by the looks of it. Around 121 degrees. We'll come a bit further because we've run a bit off track there, so I'm just going to crawl ourselves. You can see that jagged line, that pink line is jagged at the moment. What I'm going to do is move the vehicle, the aircraft left to bring that line back straight like that. Slowly bring it back just so that it's nice and straight by the time where you do straighten up. And there we go, we'll head now 121 degrees as requested. But basically I think these are just, these bush flights are like as if you're taking somebody sightseeing around this country, you know. I don't even know the country that we're in, embarrassingly, but we are going to drag our little waypoint a little bit further. So we've seen the bridge. After a short while following the road, you'll find yourself passing over a rest stop at Old Ristzer. Carry on heading southeast. So we are currently heading banging southeast, 121 degrees, which is going to be 4.5 minutes, 8.4 nautical miles for this little puppy, this little leg. Let's give you some POV. That's what it looks like from my point of view. It's all pretty cool. It's all pretty cool. Right. Carry on heading south. So we're just heading southeast basically at a heading of 121 degrees. Just till we get the waypoint change. I don't think there's much to see. It just says carry on heading southeast, so it doesn't really say you're going to see Jesus' sandals or anything like that. I don't think there's anything much to see at this waypoint. Just bringing ourselves, just lining up the little pink line again because we went a bit too far left. Bring it back to 121 degrees. A little bit too fast, story of my life. Back it out, have a little look around. So we've got a little motorway down there below us. Cars going 10 to the dozen, don't know if you can make them out. Beautiful mountains. Trees and the grass. It's an amazing experience, isn't it? Our little dudes in there, like thugs, total yobs. Probably stole this aircraft. Look at the lens flare, man. Oh man, it's just amazing, isn't it? Just amazing. I'm running this bad boy on pretty much ultra everything. I don't really. Well, I kind of let it auto calibrate, and it put me on the high end settings. Then I moved it to ultra thereafter, and it seems to be all right still. I've got a Ryzen 9 3900X and a 3070 Founders Edition, so it's a pretty good PC. Not like amazingly kick-ass, but still pretty damn good. We're crawling a little bit off kilter. Let's get back to 121. We'll try and chuck the old revs up a little bit, see if we can get moving. What that will automatically do is make the aircraft climb. So if you want to maintain your height, you can see the nose just going up. You can trim yourself down a little bit just to counter that off. And now you've got some airspeed without the aircraft climbing too much. But we are basically revving it to the red line in order to do this, so I drive all my cars sympathetically and I want to fly all my planes sympathetically. So we're still getting a little bit of climbing going on. So we want to trim it down a little bit just to make, you know, just to stop us keep going up and up and up and up. Sightseeing after all, want to stay relatively low. So now we've reached our next destination. That destination we're going to turn. We're going to see our little pink arrow there. So now I've gone a bit long. You see it's broken a little bit, so I'm going to have to come back around. Line ourselves back up. We're going to have a heading of 158 degrees for this puppy. I just want to come a little bit right to line up that pink line nicely. Now we'll start bringing it around 158 degrees. As you can see up here, we're on the 158 degree one, so start gaining altitude. As you continue along the road, you will come to pass two highway interchanges before the road disappears into the Sveti Rock Tunnel. Surrounded by dense forestry atop the Velebit Mountains, adjust and turn southwest before heading up and over the mountainside. So we're going to go up and over the mountainside. This is quite cool. We've got to gain some elevation. Yeah, the old truck's already gaining some elevation because I've got the old revs up. So we're following the road basically. See the road there up ahead and get you back into the other view. You can see the road there up ahead. We want a heading of 163 degrees. It won't want to be 158. And have a look at these mountains, look. So we're cruising along quite nicely. Fuel's looking good. Plane's absolutely revving its arse off. It's in the red. So I'm just going to just going to knock that back into the green. Into the green zone. We don't want to rape our girl, do we? So we're now cruising along for 10 nautical miles, this little puppy. 5 minutes or so. We're just taking some of the views. There's another little bridge down there by the looks of it. Nice lake. And posh little houses in the countryside. Sun setting over the mountains over there. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Right, we are going a bit off course again. I guess the wind's blowing us pretty good, so let me jump back in. Let's get us back on course. The little flight stick that I've got has got, it's easy to move it to a point and you feel some resistance. Then if you push past the resistance, you get some extreme stuff going on like that, you know? So you don't really want to, all your movement should be within the little bit that you feel the least amount of resistance in, you know? And this is literally the cheap Logitech HOTAS thing for the Xbox. It ain't nothing special. Bought it second hand off a guy on Facebook for 40 quid or something like that. I can't remember how much I gave it to him, to be honest. But it was cheap as chips, but it makes the whole experience just much cooler. 158 degrees, guys. So there's a mountain. You can feel a little bit of turbulence picking up. I do have a butt kicker which does emulate all that stuff, but I've only got the demo version of the software, which only allows me to feel the rumble of landing on the runway and taking off on the runway. But I will buy the software. I do enjoy the flying. It's bloody brilliant. So we're gonna have to pick up some altitude in a minute, because that looks a lot higher than my actual airplane, or at least I don't want to find out that I was supposed to be higher. Somebody turns me into some hot dog sausages. Although there would be one particularly jumbo sausage out of that, if you know what I mean. Ready made, ready sliced. Right, I guess we've got to give it some beans, dudes, and get up over this mountain, because we don't want to end up in the trees over there. I've just got to bring us back on course again. We're looking for the 158 digs. Right, there we go, we made it. Hard bank now. Pull it up a little bit, pull the nose up a little bit as you're banking so you don't lose. We're going to go up and over the mountain. This is cool, look. Right, so we're looking for 237 degrees. But I've also got to get up and over this bitch. Because let's face it, nobody wants to be in there. Don't want to be no bear food. So I need to give it up, man. I ain't got no height. I need to let me just pull back on the stick, see if we can get some height. I'll get a warning in a minute, I reckon. But I can't reduce my airspeed too much, otherwise you stall the aircraft, so... Oh, fucking hell, this is going to be close. Come on, Bill. Come on, girl. Up you go. I'm getting some turbulence off the mountainside now. Oh, that weren't much fun. I think we only just about cleared that. You're only just high enough. Look at the mountains, that's cool, man. The mountains are cool, aren't they? So, once you've crested the Velebit Peak, find the road again as it leads toward a bridge over the strait, Novsko Strilo. So we're going to find a road again. But yes, the mountains were very cool, man. Very cool indeed. Taking a screenshot would be good in this game. Good for the old thumbnails. Right, let's see where we're going. Let's just get us back on course a little bit off. And just drop the revs down a little bit now. Now we made it over that mountainous mountain range. What I might be able to do is do a screen grab. Do a screen grab from my thumbnail. Grab it. Bang. Screen grab for the thumbnail. Sorry dudes. Back at it. Let's get us back on track. There's got to be a way to do a screenshot with the controls. Surely! I think you can do live pause. I saw my mate Ben. He did some live pause in action. Oh, look, there's the road again. Look, Kushti. Nice bridge there and all. A bridge over the straight. That's it. That's the bridge we're looking for. And then we're looking for the airport thereafter. Let me get my from the bridge the road will lead southeast, so let's get down to this bridge. There she is. We're going to go on the heading southeast. Let me get my heading sorted out. There's our bridge. That's our bridge you'll pay to come and see. Enjoy it while it's there. Look at the views, guys. Look at the views. Beautiful. Right, it looks a lot like that. That might be an airstrip coming up. From the bridge, the road will lead southwest along the shore of Novigradsko More. Continuing further inland, you'll break away from the road toward an airport in the distance. Zrakna Luka Zadar, also known as your next stopping point. There you go. So we're way far right at the moment, way far left. Let's move the old girl right. Right, cruising along. Cruising along. How long does it stay? 11.75 nautical miles to the airport, so we are going a decent chunk inland. Nice little village down there, or town, whatever you want to call it. Got little waves on the water and everything. Oh, this is an amazing game. I'm surprised it took me a year to try this. To be honest, I'm absolutely stoked with it. So we're off course again a little bit because the wind, I guess, is making us. I can see the runway up in the distance there. Can you see it, guys? Flashing. It's our runway. So we're going to try and land this old girl at the runway to complete leg 2 of our bush tucker trial. So I've got my little screen down here. It just tells me some altitude stuff just because I wanted to use it. Got another one here where I can switch lights on and off, and you know, the landing gear and all that jazz. But we're going to try and line ourselves up nice for this approach. Generally, well, as far as I'm aware, because I didn't get through all the training, because to be honest, there was a little bit of a bug and it kept thinking I had an Xbox controller connected, and I just didn't, and I didn't know how to progress through the training when it asked me to press whatever on my Xbox controller that I didn't have. But as far as I'm aware from watching YouTube videos, you kind of drop the throttle, let her come down, you put the flaps on a little bit, which kind of slows you down like an air brake, and then you try and lift the nose up just as you're about to touch down, and hopefully it's all cushy. But I'm sure that some bird will come on the radio in a minute, or something will come up on the screen and tell me, yo, dude, slow down, you total melt. What I'll do is I'll put you into this view just so that we can get a nice clear image of the crash or landing. Right, so now I want to start straightening this up a little bit. My little arrow saying I'm a bit left. Getting nervous now. They're at 1,540 feet. We're still absolutely motoring, to be fair. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I might need to give it some juice, actually. I'm a bit low. Hopefully we'll just scoot straight over them flashing lights onto the tarmac. We all get to see our families tonight. It starts getting a little bit rough, a little bit of turbulence, and you've got to give it some rudder action sometimes just to keep yourself straight as the turbs come on. So I'm quite happy with our speed, doing 115 knots. It's slowing down ever so slightly. I think once them lights go out of view of my dashboard, I'll just throttle back a little bit. I'm at 1,100 feet. Maybe I should start dropping the nose a little bit, actually. Bring the throttle back down a little bit. So we're cruising in. Try and get us down a bit lower, drop some of this height. Now I want to just rudder it round a little bit because we're just crabbing a little bit off course. I'll bring them flaps up. You can see that's pushing the nose up. And we just want to do a little flare at the end here when you get near the runway. Just give it a little tug back on the old stick, if you know what I mean. And then we land it. Beautiful. Rudder it over because we're getting sucked off the left of the old runway there. If you know, ooh, got all the puns coming out today. Let off the brakes. I think we'll just straighten her up on the old runway there. Put the brakes on. I think that will be the end of our leg. Beautiful. Wicked. So there you go, dudes. A little bit of sightseeing with Jono. Thank you very much for checking out my video. I'll do a few of these if you enjoy them. Let us know if you want some more. Keep it real. Till next time.